I'm not real sure. What I want to do today is, first of all, I want to show you that if you do what is called preventive maintenance on tools, they last forever. So I'm going to show you a selection of tools from the 1980 and year 81 Milwaukee tools that I bought probably back in the 70s, but I'll just say it's 1980s. And the way that you can keep the equipment running smooth is to do proper maintenance. And myself, as an airframe and power plant jet mechanic, I will show you how to do the maintenance briefly for the first 2 or 3 minutes of this video. The first thing I want to discuss is that we are, in fact, working out in the sun in August in the Philippines. The temperature, which I'm going to use this thermal imaging gun, is somewhere around 140 degrees on the deck temperature. So let's take a look at that. We have 134, 141 is the deck temperature. And the deck temperature is where you stand and what's on the ground. Now the temperature on the bench, this is the cover for this thermal imager. The temperature on the bench is 144 degrees. The temperature of the black part of the headphones is 122. So that's what I'll be putting on my ears. So let's just get this straight. This kind of work at the age of 67 is not for the faint of heart. So I'm not real sure what I should show you next. The next thing I'll show you is the bolts I'm going to be using to put the wood together. So these are the bolts. These are stainless steel. Some are National Fine Thread and some are coarse thread bolts. The tools I'll be using, this is a Milwaukee 18-volt battery-operated hand tool. But this tool here, this is one of my favorite tools. This tool here is this is from the 1970s. I know this because I remember working for the fella, Bobby, of B&S Auto. And nobody in the world would know who Bobby is unless you can Google B&S, Bravo, ampersand Sierra Auto out in Oceanside, Long Island. And then you'll know who he is. They make movies about that guy. I bought this tool to build him a staircase in his house. This is a 1980, 79 or 78 or possibly even 77 Milwaukee hole shooter with a quick disconnect cord. So this cord has a lock on it and it locks in place. It also locks into this 1978 or 9 or 80 screw gun. It locks right in the bottom, just quick. It's called the quick lock. Now, how do you maintain these tools so that they work forever? Well, it's real simple. Inside this gear housing is a set of steel gears. None of that plastic gears that they make now. When you buy this tool from Milwaukee, it has about a ½ ounce of grease in this housing. If you were to use it on a commercial basis for a year, you could throw it away. The grease would become so thin that within a year of using this tool every day, I'm talking about 2 or 3 hours a day for a year, you throw it away. The first thing I do is I take the screws, 3 screws off this housing, I separate it, and I fill it up solid with grease. And I take the grease out of it every 2 or 3 years, depending on how often I use the drill. That's one step to maintaining tools so that they last forever. The second thing is when I buy the tool, I immediately buy a set of brushes for the tool. For both tools, I have Sawzalls that this also is the quick disconnect, but I always buy an extra set of brushes. I always take the gearboxes apart. I always fill the gearboxes solid, and then you never have a problem. Every 2 years in the winter, I take the entire tool apart, degrease the gears, and I put grease in the back bearing. The back bearing will never wear out if you put grease in it every 2 years. So that's my Milwaukee tools from 1979 or 80. This is a Ryobi 14-inch power miter. I bought this for the same job. I built a $10,000 staircase for Bobby, and I made many of these staircases for various people that they made movies about. So what I'm going to do today is, we're done with the tools. That's a relatively new Stihl chainsaw, maybe 10 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old. I bought it in 2014. Okay, so that's what the tools look like, and this is what I'm going to duplicate. This horse had the ability to hold 1,000 pounds, no problem at all. No worries, no problem. Just put 1,000 pounds up there and it would hold it up. Now, the reason I'm going to rebuild another horse like this is because this one is just completely destroyed from termites. Okay, here. This is nothing left of this horse. Now, here's a piece. Get this. The termites have completely destroyed this horse. And the ants. Now, why do I want to build another one of these? This is for stripping lumber. It's got 2 boards with a 3 3/4 inch space between the 2 boards. You put a 2x4 in here, and then you can pull the nails out of the board because it's being held in on both sides. It's adjustable with some wedges that will be made later on. The side, on the side, it has a strap that goes across the side over here, like this, from here to here. That strap, you can put a piece of plywood on the strap or another one on the bottom. And you can hold the plywood up there. You could screw it to this board or bind it up with a pair of clamps, and then you can cut the board horizontal or vertical, but it will hold it in place. So it acts like a clamp, but it's not a clamp. So that's why I'm duplicating this pretty much. Now, I built this in 2015 or 2016. I built one in 1977. I built one in 1985. I built one in 1990. I just duplicate the same process. It works for me. So that's the bench that I have set up. This is the lumber. Now, this lumber is cocoa lumber. It's about as hard as wood can get if it's a properly seasoned piece of cocoa lumber, hardened and old growth cocoa lumber. When you cut it, it almost burns through it. So the only way to get a hole through that, you could not put, I'm going to use 3-inch screws to hold this together as a temporary tack, but you could never get a 3-inch screw through that piece of wood. That would be impossible. So what you need to do is take a drill bit and pre-drill the hole through the first piece for sure, and then in the second piece it might go in 1 1/4 inch, but this is only for tacking purposes. How we're going to get the real meat and potatoes of this together is I could show it to you right now. I'll hook up this, I'll hook up the drill, and I'll show you what is known as an auger bit, A-U-G-E-R, auger bit, also from the 1980s, which I have about 50 of various sizes up until the size of 1.5 inches. But those bits are for bulkhead. So it's got a tip on it with a screw. And the screw screws into the lumber and pulls the drill through the wood. So let's just take a piece of scrap, like this one here, and we'll put it across here like that, and we'll just drill a random hole through the middle somewhere with the auger. All right? And then you'll be able to see how the auger bit works. Now, you could do it with a standard drill bit, but if you do it with a standard drill bit, it's not as fast. Now, it's not as fast with a standard drill bit, because a standard drill bit, you have to keep clearing the hole. With this one, the auger bit, it sucks it right down into the wood and through the wood. So let's see what we have here. Okay, we have 115 degrees in the sun there. Okay, and these bolts will be the bolts I'm going to use. These are 1/2 inch non-magnetic stainless steel, marine stainless steel bolts to mount motors on the transoms of boats. Now, I'm going to also set this down. These bolts are going to be countersunk into the wood about 3/4 of an inch. Now that you could use a paddle bit for. This is called a paddle bit. Or you could use an auger, adjustable auger paddle bit. Now I'm going to use this bit because I want to see what it does. I haven't used this bit in probably 10 years. I want to see if it still works, which is, it's a lie. I'm lying. I know it still works. So let's get the drill bit out of here. And I keep my drill bit truck key on the cord, so that it's always handy. I put the drill bit truck key on tape on the cord 2 feet down from the back of the drill, so that it maintains. I'll use the paddle bit. Let's just see if this paddle bit is sharp. You don't need to see all of that stuff. So this is going to be big enough for a washer and a bolt. Yep, I forgot to tighten all three. Whenever you tighten up a bit and it's going to go to do a hard job, you got to tighten up all three of the chucks, the locks on the chuck. I only tightened up one, and I only did it by hand. Now it's tight. Okay, now let's see what happens. I only want to get it flat so that the washer sits flat. I don't really care about how deep it goes. The bolts are way long enough to go through 2 pieces of wood. So that's what we're going to do today. And then, of course, I have all the pieces pre-cut. These are all pre-cut and ready to go to be bolted together. But, of course, I have to pre-drill about 13 or 14, 14 or so pre-drills for the 3-inch screws. Probably a little bit more than that. But right off the bat, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 14 holes to tap into the lumber. So if you have a question, now's the time to ask. And I'll answer your question. And if you don't have a question, I'm going to move this lumber out of the way. I'm going to set my first frame, my first A-frame for the horse up on the bench, and I'm going to clamp it down with a couple of clamps like that. And then we will start assembling the pieces that I pre-cut yesterday. So I'll sit down for a moment and look at the screen because I actually can't see if there's a question because the sun is so bright here. I cannot see the screen. Okay, so are there any questions? I still can't see the screen. Hey, DNC, that thing isn't going to build itself. That's right. Too much talking. Well, I try to give people, people say, oh, those tools, they're from the 19... That's right, they're 43. They're 44 years old, maybe 45 years old. But I'm trying to make people understand if you maintain the motor in your car, you'll get 1 million miles out of your motor. If you don't maintain the motor in your car, you'll get 100,000 miles. If you maintain your tools, they last to use them every day for 50 years. If you don't maintain your tools, they don't last. And people don't understand preventive maintenance. However, DNC does, because DNC worked for the Air Force, and he understands everything there is to know about preventive maintenance. So thanks for stopping by, DNC. And DNC is being facetious, of course, but as for the job that, I won't tell people what your job was, but DNC knows more about preventive maintenance than anybody, pretty much, except the few of us that are real A&P jet mechanics. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to actually go to work now. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the laugh. Let me put this camera down. And let's get going. Let's get this show on the road. Now I can't see the screen again. All right, where are we? Hold on a minute. I got to get into a precarious position to get this 3.5-inch screws. Okay, so we don't need that. Okay, now we can see what's going on the bench and the saw and the screw aspect of everything. Let's get started. This horse ain't gonna build itself. LOL. have one more tool that's a newer tool. It's not quite up to par with a real electric blower. It's a 12-volt battery operated drill. It's a piece of junk, but it works better than a bench brush. I use a Q, one of those chalks, a Q stick chalk, to mark rough sawn lumber. It works better than a pencil, because a pencil you can't see because it's black. So you could use a yellow keel or a pull stick Q chalk. Okay, so this bolt's long enough to go through it, but I still want to have a flush surface to put the washer in. Okay, this board is too thick. It's a 1/2 inch thicker than the other board. So we're going to check one more thing over here. Maybe this one is the same thickness. Yeah, that's the same thickness. Okay. I don't have to do too much to it. I'm going to daddle them both down flush, flat, so they're not a rounded, because the boards are rounded. I'll show it to you. This was from a tree, and this was the outside of the tree. So as you can see this, it's rounded like that, like an umbrella. I'm going to hit this with the chainsaw on those boards and flush them out. Now I want to tell you there's something called the Chainsaw Act of the Philippines. Foreigners are not allowed to use a chainsaw to deforest any trees in the Philippines, but they are allowed to use a chainsaw on their property. So don't get the Chainsaw Act of the Philippines mixed up with using a chainsaw to cut limbs off a tree, or in this case work in my backyard. Two different things. Although you've heard people say he's gonna go to jail for using a chainsaw in the Philippines. No, you're allowed to use a chainsaw in the Philippines, baby. Six pulls should start it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A man has got to know his tools. And where he put them. It's hot. It's 146 in the sun now. I could feel it. I could feel it now. You believe that? They hit a nail. A hidden nail. What are the chances of it hitting a hidden nail? 1 in 10,000. There it is. Well, I could drill through it and maybe destroy the bit. And then I'd have to go get another one. I only have about 5 or 6 of these. And then sharpen this one later on. Let's try it. I don't see the nail. I heard it though. I heard there was a nail in the wood. That's not good. It must have just caught the edge because it's gone now. Got lucky. Yeah, it just caught the edge of the nail. Didn't do any, I didn't catch it dead on. It just caught about a 64th of the nail. Yes. And as soon as I get this tightened up, if anybody is watching, I will answer a few questions, and I will take a little break. It's a little hot out here today. I should have set up the air tools, and I might still do that. I might not. Justin, you remember, yeah, to put the pipes over here, yeah? When you're finished, now I get the scaffold pipes. I will get, yeah, you understand. Okay, Monday. Okay, definitely time to take a break. macaroni. Not being set up with the proper work tools. I should have, haven't done this kind of work in many years. I should have brought the air tools out, but I didn't. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to build the other frame, and then I'll put it together tomorrow. It's already probably close to 12 o'clock. Okay. Take a little break. It's pretty hot over there, though, I'll tell you that. That's one thing for sure. In that sun is 115 degrees. Yes. Dennis Adam. Tak for alt. Yes. You know, I left a message for you a few weeks ago on your Skype, but I don't think you were around. Hello, Dennis. Thank you for stopping by. Nice to see you working. Cheap Charlie fan. Wow, somebody from Thailand. Thanks for stopping by. Now we're working, says DNC. No, I don't think the hotel will be done this year. But we're gonna, not until the court case is over will I start working on the hotel again. I will not do a thing on the hotel aspect of the job until the court case is over. A certain fella knows a thing or two about horses. Hey, Jack Thompson, how you doing? And that's right, DNC. Big J Smith, nice job. So let me just show you. I'm not set up for this kind of work. I have not done this kind of work. My tools are not set up for this work. But I got a little bit of the job done. I'll show you what I did. I had to dado out the face of the faces of this wood because this wood is rounded. So I dadded that out with the chainsaw. This excess stuff here, that's going to get power planed off, or I'll hit that with the chainsaw. So I got 2 half-inch stainless steel bolts, snug really, really, really good. Then what I'll do, I will not use screws in this because screws, they rust out in a year. These black drywall screws, these screws over here, they don't last a year. I will take 30 penny nails and pre-drill the holes through this because you cannot punch a nail through this. It's like ironwood. It's really hard stuff. You have no idea how dense this stuff is. So I'll pre-drill it a 64th smaller than the wood. And I'll put one in here, one here, one here, one here. And I'll do the same thing from the other side. And those nails are 1/8 of an inch thick. So that will keep it, this will hold everything together. But the nails will keep it from the angle from changing. Otherwise, I'd have to put 2 bolts in. And these bolts are about $8 a piece for this marine stainless. So I have a lot of them. I have quite a few. But there's no reason in spending all that money on bolts when I could do it with nails and it will work just as well, just as good. So any of this excess stuff here, that gets trimmed off. The important thing is on this side, the notches are down flush with the wood. So if I put 1,000 pounds on here, it's going into the notch of the wood. This will hold 1,000 pounds easy when I'm done with it. If this was just standard 2x4s, you could probably put 1,000 pounds on it, but you know, that would be pushing it. With this size, this thickness, and this quality lumber, you would put 1,000 pounds on there and 3 men could jump up and down on it all day. Nothing would happen. So I need to get some water. I actually do need to get some water. So that's what I might just get water. I mean, if you guys want to stick around, you're welcome to stick around. I'll do the other one. So the way I kept everything lined up is these angles were cut. These angles were cut on the power meter to a specific angle, whatever that angle was, 22.5. And the way I kept everything square, or to the build, is I used this pipe to keep it pretty much at the right angle. So the next frame that I'm going to build will be about the same. I'll mark the pipe in two places right now with this chalk. And then that will give me a rough size. I'll mark the bench like that, like this. I got a rough size there. Not that I need it. And then this chalk, this is a Q-tip for Q-sticks. You cannot use a pencil or a black magic marker. You could use a yellow keel, K-E-E-L, on here, or I use a pool cue chalk. And that works better than a yellow keel because it comes right off first time it rains. So, what I do need to do is I definitely need water. I'm getting weak here. I need more 3/4 inch nuts. I thought I brought the tray out with the nuts in the tray, but I was mistaken about that. So I need at least 2 more nuts. I have the washers here. Okay. Well, these bolts can go back in here. I have one nut here. I need one more. All of this stuff is from the 1990s when I worked at Chris Carson's Marine Service in Key Largo. I used to take the motors off the boats and rip them apart. And Chris Carson, when I took the motor off the back of the transom, this was a transom bolt, fine thread. This bolt cost $8 or $10, marine stainless with a nut and, of course, washers. So this is like a $10 bolt. I would take them off and put them in a bucket. And I had like 10 buckets of these bolts over the course of the years. And he would charge them for a new bolt. And he would take these old bolts and put them in the sandblaster and make them shiny. Like this. With walnut shells. Polished. Then he polished them on the buffing wheel. And he would charge them like $14 for the bolt. Meanwhile, they were the old bolts. They look like this. We'd make them look like this, and we'd charge them $14, $15 for one bolt. You needed 6 bolts. So he'd make about $100 on used bolts. Chris Carson's Marine Service. I gotta tell you, he wasn't the most ethical person I ever worked for in my life, to say the least. Now, the bolts were good, and to be honest, most Marine services did stuff like that, but I happen to have worked for him. Now, the Mercury deal across the street from him, I forgot the name. He did not do anything like that. He would take the old bolts off and use the old bolts, and no charge. But he was an honest man. I could not say the same thing about Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Chris, you know I love you, Chris. You taught me a lot of stuff. Taught me how to sell used bolts for $15. That's what he did. So what I'm going to do is I got to go get water. I definitely got to go get a bottle of water. So you just look at this work here. Nice job, says Flying Circus. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. So this is, let me go get a bottle of water, man. I'm dying out here. It is really, really, really hot. Yeah, I don't know how hot it is, but I'll take a temperature reading now. It's a little cooler than it was. It's probably down to about 110. Let's see what the temperature is up here. The deck temperature, 112. $111. It's 111 in the shade. Give me I would say I'll be back in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. 59, 58, 57, 56, 5, 4, 3, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 41, 40, 40, 38, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. Yeah, I beat my record. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Holy macaroni. Oh, it's friggin' hot. Okay, so I got 2 bottles of water right there, baby. One of them I'm gonna make disappear right now. I'm gonna make this whole bottle of water disappear. Whew. See? That was 750 milliliters of water. Holy macaroni, I was thirsty. Whew. I could drink it all at once, but I'm not in any hurry. I got one more to go, but I'm not going to drink it now. So if anybody has a question, now's a good time. Thanks for stopping by, Flying Circus. And Flying Circus, that was a great video you posted yesterday. Thank you. I reposted the link on my community page. That guy has to learn that he's a low-end blogger, and he just needs to be. I have that mail I sent out to you with all those videos in it. I'm going to send that video, that mail, to Expat Trash of the Philippines. I have all those videos with the girls in them. And he was so proud of that, so he should continue to be proud. He created the videos with everybody's permission, and he was really proud of his lifestyle. So Expat Trash of the Philippines came around, and so many people just went dark. They stopped their rants and rages and said, removed videos, went through their repertoire. I didn't have to go through my repertoire. I don't have anything on my channel that has to do with disgusting dating habits, whether it be with men or females. That part of his vlogs from years ago, that was pretty crazy stuff, man. I wish I could get those old videos from Chi Corsairs. Dr. Love incriminated himself big time back then. And on Kevin, did you read the links that I sent you on Big Kevin's show, Flying Circus? That Big Kevin said, hey, it's Dr. Love, man, female, or Big Kevin says, I'll just call you Dr. Love. And he went, no, don't call me Dr. Love, call me. And then he said his new name. He is a trip, man. And then he called me a liar. Show me how, where, and when I lied about anything that was important in this world. You might get me when I said today that my tools were from 1978 or 79. Maybe they're from 1980, but that's the extent of my lies, if you want to call it a lie, because I just don't remember what year I bought it in 43 years ago. But did I lie about having an ocean racer or a Cobra or a barge or a crane or a pile driver or a digger or a... No, I never lied about stuff like that. Why would he say it? Because he's got nowhere to go, boxed into a corner. The politician has nowhere to go but to let subterfuge, or whatever they call it, nonsense flowing out of his mouth. Hey, how do you like me now? That's all I got to say about that. The guy is a trip, man, calling me a liar, calling Daisy May. Oh, he called Daisy May what his concubines, women, and wives are. Not anything to do with Daisy May. And I'm not going to forget that anytime soon. He's got to learn to not lie about people's wives, girlfriends, and, if one thing is, if you tell the truth about somebody's girlfriend or wife, well, that's the truth. And if it's provable, well, that's okay. But to absolutely lie and to destroy a beautiful girl's reputation, that's not allowed. It's just not allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. He should have his channel removed, completely removed, and his name and address should be publicly placed in the public venue, and he shouldn't be allowed to have a channel if he's going to go around disrespecting nice, honest Filipino women like that. So, let's get back to the job at hand. I'm sure a lot of people agree with me. If you notice, when I went to Popeye's channel today, because I knew both of you were having a live stream at the same time, and I clicked on Popeye's channel and my name was being mentioned at that moment, so I stayed on his channel. I didn't get to see your live stream. What you should do, pull it, screenshot the whole thing, re-record it, remove your original or leave it, and then repost it at a different time. I had no idea, but when I went to Popeye's channel, my name was being mentioned in a positive manner. I should say that as well. So I stayed on his channel while I made breakfast, and while I put that mail that I sent you together. I put that mail together while I was on the live stream. Okay, so now I'm going to build the other segment of this A-frame. I feel much more, I feel better. I feel a lot better, actually. I'm going to put the camera back over there, and I need to do one more thing. All right, so here's what I got to do. I got to go get 30 penny nails. So I'm going to pin this right now so it can't move and I don't have to do it again. So I'm going to put the camera where it was in the shade. I have a little tool I made to make the camera have shade, because if it's in the sun, it overheats really fast in the sun. 5 minutes and that's it, it's over. So okay, so let's go here, let's go here. Okay, I'll be out in, it'll be less than a minute. It'll be less than a minute. I'm gonna get the 30 penny nails to lock these legs up in place. I have a container of 30 pennies. I didn't take any pain medication today. My knees hurt. I got to go one size smaller on the drill bit. I want I don't want the nail to go into the wood. I want to have to tap it down into the wood. I want it in one more size. All right, I'm going to try the smaller one first. Well, I'll try the bigger one first. Let's just try one of these. These nails I'm using are concrete nails. So they're basically the hardest nail that you could buy, and they're made to put in concrete. And this wood is almost as dense as concrete. Yeah, that worked really nice. That worked real nice. It won't work unless you pre-drill it. That works just fine. Ah. Not only will this horse hold 1,000 pounds, it's going to weigh almost 100 pounds. It's going to be a heavy horse. It'll be as heavy as the last one for sure. Huh. Well, I grabbed the wrong tray. It always amazes me how I hit another nail dead on the head. It's amazing. If you tried to do it, it would be impossible. I hit, that's 2 nails. I hit dead on, point to point, from different weird angles. Okay, now. What? Everything is good. You bring over the pipes when you're done. Polyhoog. Oh yeah, libre. Libre. Yeah, salamat. Alrighty. So we got one done in an hour and a half, yeah? The second one should be a little faster. Not much. Not much at all. I'll show you the finished product. I'll bring the camera over and show you the finished product, but I don't know that I'm going to get to build the second one today. I definitely need to take an ibuprofen. There's no doubt about that. Oh, I haven't taken one since yesterday afternoon. Okay, so here's one set of legs, and then I'll show you where this is going. So this, just the A-frame, the metal piece is not going to be part of this process. It will be a middle piece like that, but it will extend up about 15 inches for a different function. So this frame has 30 penny steel cut nails, and there's 10 of those, 4 on this side, 4 over here, 2 on this side, and there's 12 of those. 4, 8, 10, 12 of those. And these bolts here are marine stainless steel 1/2-inch bolts. Marine stainless steel 1/2-inch bolts. I have a half of a 5-gallon bucket of those bolts. So I don't mind using them, even though they would be about $12 a piece with the nut and the washers. So that's one side of the frame. And I'm going to let this fall down. It's going to fall. Don't be afraid. Okay. And this is the other side. And then now we're going to build one more of these. Now on top of this, over here and over here, I'm going to trim this off. This was a 1/4 inch higher or lower, it makes no difference on this project. And then I'm going to put a board like this across the top of these. And they'll get bolted down, but I'll use lag bolts for that. Or, yeah, I'll use lag bolts for these. And they're going to have one on this side and one on this side. And now I'm going to show you why those boards are going to go like that. Then I'm going to get an ibuprofen. So that's half of this frame. So this frame here, I built this back in 2015. This horse holds about 1,000 pounds, and it was made out of the cheapest lumber in the Philippines. So one board is going to go on the top on one side and one on the other. And the reason for this space in here is so you can put a 2x4 in here lengthwise, and you could use it for cutting it off, or you could put a piece of pipe in here and use it to cut off, or you could put a 2x4 in there with nails and pry the nails out with a crowbar, and this holds it kind of like a clamp. So that's the reason for that. Okay, I really need I need to get in the house to get an ibuprofen. I worked really hard yesterday, and okay, so let's see. We have a comment. No more comments. I'll be back out here and I'll be back out here in about a minute. About 1 minute from the time I say I'm leaving. Oh man. Okay, count down a minute. Oh, 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 no, oh, ah, 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 ah. All righty. Oh. Oh, I won't feel better for I won't feel better for a half an hour, but in a half an hour that'll kick in. I pulled a muscle yesterday doing something, whatever I was doing, pulled a muscle. But I think it was DNC that said it in the beginning of this live stream in the chat. That horse ain't going to build itself. And he was definitely right about that. There's no doubt about it. DNC, he's a good horse builder, DNC. He could be like a horse whisperer. You guys keeping me honest. Okay, that thing almost stands up by itself. Okay, that'll be strong enough. That'll hold up 1,000 pounds all by itself. We're having a big, we're having a big pig roast there. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have the fiesta. I understand yesterday Nana asked me for lumber, to start saving lumber for the pig roast. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, here's the second one. Right there. And right there, baby. Lined it up with the blue marks I made before. Okay. And here we go. We got to get and then hit that with the chainsaw. No, we don't. Yeah, we do. Okay. All right, got that. I could have made this thing out of a regular 2x4 that I have on the side of the property, but those are pressure treated 2x4s I took from America. And you can't buy pressure treated lumber here in the Philippines. So I want to use those for sill plates on the concrete so the termites can't get them for another project that I'm doing. so I can't really use them for this. I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Now I'm going to use this chainsaw on my property for doing carpentry. It's not covered under the Chainsaw Act of the Philippines that says I can't be a timberman in the Philippines. That I know, but I can cut lumber. So if you have a problem with the Chainsaw Act of the Philippines, my name is Michael Fazia, and I'm cutting lumber in my backyard. And that's okay, according to the law. So I don't want you to mess your pants over this process. perfect. That was a long shot to get it perfect the first time, but it is. Wow, is it hot. It's really hot. I'm not crying like a little girl, but I'm just telling you, it's friggin' hot. Very hot. After I drill these 2 holes, I'm going to drink that other bottle of water and take a break. I'm gonna bring the camera over here and show you how well these auger bits work. They have a screw on the front of the bit, so it screws down into the wood and it pulls the drill bit through the lumber. However, you got to be real careful when you're going through the other side, because if you have your leg underneath it or something like that, it will screw it right into your leg, and then you'll have to put it in reverse and take your leg. That's always more problematic. It's better to just do it right the first time. So let's get this set up over here. I think you should be able to see that. I can't see the screen. Oh, yeah, okay, this is good, okay. Yeah, so you're gonna watch the auger bit. I'll show you the tip of it. You're gonna watch it auger. It actually is called an auger bit because it augers down into the wood. These bits are made by Irwin, E-I-R-W-E-N, Irwin. This bit costs about, I don't know, I think I paid $18 a piece for these in 1980, so I don't know what they are now. So it's an Irwin 24-inch, no, let's see how long it is. It's an Irwin auger bit, half 9/16 in diameter, 18 inches long. 18 inches by 9/16 auger bit made by Irwin Drill Bit Company. Okay, so the reason that it hit like what you call a dead spot, the different density of the lumber changes the way the drill bit will dig into the lumber. Plus, once the auger stops augering, then you'll have to push it down to grab a new bite on the auger. It's a very complicated process, drilling with an auger bit. You have to, if you push too hard, it'll auger too much and it'll want to stop the drill. I got a 60-foot extension cord on a 5-foot extension cord on a 10-foot drill cord. So I'm pulling through 75 feet. I'm pulling through 75 feet of wire. It's 12 wire. It's 14. So I'm pulling a lot of amps through this, but I'll get the job done. You know that. Get the job done. All right, I got to drink a bottle of water. I really do need a bottle of water. Oh, it is blaring hot out here today. Blaring hot. Blaring hot is very hot. Dominic.
Oh, Bill.
Hello.
Oh, Landong.
Mein Buntag.
Oh, Lapon.
Mein Hapon Pod. I'm going to check the comments as soon as I'm done with this water. I really needed the water. I drank 3 of these today so far in 2 hours. And not a single bead of sweat, not a single bead of sweat came off my forehead or my chin or off my chest. That's how hot it is. It's so hot, the sweat is evaporating before it falls off my forehead. I'll save one mouthful. One mouthful. I'm going to sit down. Oh. Oh yeah, I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes. Oh. Oh yeah. Five minutes. Take a break. Whew. It's freaking hot. I wonder what the temperature is now. I bet it's 100. I bet it's 125 or more. Let me find the thermal imaging tool. I know darn well it's 125. I can tell. I can tell the difference between 115 and 125, believe it or not. It's 125. What I'm going to shoot now is more likely 135. So, let's put this down here. I'm going to shoot this 131. 131. Wait, where was that? I hit the wrong spot. 127. So, on the dark deck, 130. 131. On the deck temperature, where the wood is, The wood is 102, but the wood is not dark. The white part of the table is 105, 106, and the dark part of the headphone is 110. So the coolest part of the bench where I'm working is 105 degrees. So only real men, of course, only real men can do this kind of work. And old men, like me, even less percentage of old men. But I will tell you that I pushed myself because I've always been able to do it. I believe I can still do it. Therefore, I can still do it, just not so fast anymore. And this is what the goal of all this work is to build another identical angle, identical height, give or take an inch, identical top to that horse, which at one point when I had 50 sheets of plywood on there. 50 sheets on there for a job I did. And plus the 2x2s and the 2x4s. So there were 50 sheets on top of here. And then on the other side of the horse, on the other side, I had 2 horses. And they were just barely holding up. But this one will hold 1,000 to 2,000 pounds, no problem. Not now, not today, but in its prime. Oh. In its prime. Oh. So, in its prime, that had more than 1,500 pounds of material on it. And the new one will be good for a lot more than that. The new one is made out of 2 1/4 inch USINGCoCo lumber. It's probably those are 2x2s and 2x3s, and that held 1,000 pounds because of the way I built it. But the new one will hold easily. The new one will hold 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, no problem at all. The new one will hold. Where is that saw? I can't even see the saw. Okay, so there's the frame there, and that frame is just going to take the place of this frame over here. Let me put my glasses on. I see comments. Sandy, this guy is the hardest working man. I wish I had videos of me building decks. I have videos of the deck after the fact, because most of the deck work I did was in the early 1980s to 90s. I didn't get my camcorder till around 1988. So I might have some deck building videos, but I have pictures. Thank you, Sandy. And Sandy goes on to say, this guy is the hardest, the most honest and hardest working man he has ever seen on YouTube. Not to mention, he has unlimited skills. Thank you very much, Sandy. Appreciate that. I've been telling people for years that, that I've done a multitude of jobs. But none of the jobs have anything to do with my skill sets. My skill sets come because I worked for my dad, who was a tugboat captain, and I worked on the tugboats and on the barges. So I worked with welders, riggers, crane operators, scow, how to dump scows. I worked in the engine room on my dad's tugboat. If one of the motors had to come apart, I was just standing there handing him a tool. I worked for my dad around the house building the garage when I was like 7 years old, and we had built our own. We did all the aluminum siding on the house. All I did was hand my dad the stuff. But before that, I worked for my uncle, and he was a master carpenter, plumber, and electrician. And by the time I was 15, I could put a bathroom in, plumbing, sheetrock, tile, and electric by myself, because I went to aviation high school, and they taught us the finer knowledge of electric, plumbing, hydraulics, pneumatics, carpentry. We didn't just learn how to cut wood to build an airplane. We built sections of airplanes. We rebuilt sections of airplanes. In the hangar, in order to get your licenses, you had to take, through the shops. Let's say you were in hydraulic shop, right? And they would teach you how to bend a hydraulic pipe. And at the time, we used flare fittings. And they would teach you how to flare the pipes. And you would make a hydraulic system. You'd get a piston from the teacher, and the teacher would give you so many feet of hydraulic pipe, 1/4 inch or 3/8 aluminum pipe, and a flare tool. You got the flare tool from the tool locker, and the teacher would say, okay, this is the schematic, and then you'd get a tubing bender. And on the schematic, it would tell you to bend put the first flared fitting to a fixed flare on a piece of wood. So you would just put the pipe to there. But then your first bend had to be 22.5 degrees, let's say. And you got a tubing bender. And on the tubing bender is the degrees in the radius for that pipe. If it's 1/4 inch pipe, you get a 1/4 inch tubing bender. And like that. So then the second bend had to be another 22.5, which gives you a 45-degree angle, right? Now you have to bend a 90, back in the other direction. But the process involves bending a pipe. You can't have the pipe has to remain parallel to the wood that you're bending it to. So if you bend it incorrectly, you might be able to get it back to where it should be. But a lot of guys just bent it, and there was no bringing it back without kinking the pipe, or they bent it in the wrong direction. So we learned how to bend pipe. When we cut lumber, we learned whether it was 1/4 sword, 1/2 sword. The density of the lumber mattered. Pin knot clusters, knot clusters, longleaf yellow pine, longleaf, different types of lumber, whether it was longleaf or 1/4 sword, and we learned all of that stuff. So, and in order to get an A&P license, you learn stuff 3 hours a day in your freshman year, and then 4 hours a day in your junior year, and 5 hours a day in your senior year. So you learned the mechanics of how to build an airplane, wire it, plumb it, skinned open fabric, jet engines, and also carburation. So we had 5 hours a day for 2 years, 180 days times 5 hours a day. That's 900 hours in our junior and senior year, and then we had about 700 hours in our freshman and sophomore year. So we had 1,600 hours. And if you had, when you took the test for your A&P, you had to have, you didn't have to have 100% attendance. I did for 3 of the 4 years. 1 year I missed 7 days. I had been robbed and stabbed, and I was in the hospital. And I missed 7 days in my junior year. So I didn't get 100% attendance on a technicality. So, but we had 1,600 hours. But on top of that, at night, I would stay until 6 o'clock and I would take an extra course for welding, MIG, TIG, and arc welding. I liked welding. I should have become a welder. I was pretty good at it at the time. I'm not so good at it anymore. I can melt stuff together where it don't fall apart, but it's ugly. So thanks, Sandy. And that's why I can do a lot of the things that I do. Thank you. Big J Smith, nice job, Mr. Fazio. Thank you. Flying Circus with the thumbs up. We already covered that comment. Okay. But I giddy up on the, I'll giddy up on the horse when I get it done. You got to remember now, this horse, I'm doing this now 2 hours and 52 minutes, which means I have 20 minutes left, 25 minutes left of battery. And it is what time? It's got to be 2:30, right? 2:35. So I'm out here today. When I'm done putting those bolts in the hole, I'll be out here today for 3 hours. And I did 3 hours yesterday, so it's 6 hours. It took an hour to clean up the lumber, but that doesn't count because that had nothing to do with cutting. So I have 7 hours into it. Now, if I had a real shop, like I'm working in a hole next to the table. There was a hole there, and I filled it up with a couple of batteries and a piece of plywood. But if I had a deck, a flat deck to work on, and I had a shop, and I was inside a shop with a workbench, with a table saw, and the tools like I had my wood shop, I could build this thing complete in probably 7 or 8 hours. So as it is now, I got 6 hours, and I'm going to have about 3 more hours tomorrow. So it'll be 9 hours. So I probably could build it in 7 hours in a real shop, 6 hours. And that would be the first one in 6 hours. If I did another one, another backup horse, which I'm not going to do that, I could probably build it in 4 hours. So the bottom line is that I have to take the tools out in the morning and put the tools away in the afternoon. That takes a half an hour in both directions. Put the cords away. I couldn't find my lag bolts. I know I have 1,000 lag bolts. Literally, I have 1,000 lag bolts. I'll need that for the next part of the job. I couldn't find them today. I don't know where the heck they went. I have 2 cargo containers. That's the problem. I don't know if I took the lag bolts out of my number 1 cargo container and put it in my number 2 cargo container, which I probably could have done because I revamped, reworked the way I had stuff stored. When I was going to start building the hotel again, I took deep storage out of this one and put it in that one, and I took the stuff I would use for the immediate construction and put it in this one. And then we had COVID. Then my leg was really messed up from it had an infection. Then when that happened, then there was COVID. And then when COVID got ended, I got attacked. And I said, you know what? I'm in court. I will not do any more work on the hotel. I will not invest my money in a country unless I see legal satisfaction. Not the kind of money that I was going to invest. It won't happen. So I'll do something completely different, altogether different. It will be very surprising to you people what I do if I'm not happy with the way court turns out. But it will happen. And I'll just change my plans. take that to the bank. So right now, I have about 22 minutes of time left on the camera. I'm going to go, I'm short one nut. Oh, and if Popeye or Nico or Aloe or DNC, I heard, now I'm not on any Discord. I don't have anything to do with any kind of Discord. But somebody in a Discord server, I have no idea which one it is. I don't have anything to do. I don't have anything to do with group think. I'll be one-on-one with somebody as a friend and have each individual conversation, but I will not start posting. I don't go to a Discord and say, oh, did you see what he did? And so somebody said, do you really believe that Fazio had a swollen testicle that was this big, 5.5 inches in diameter? So I heard that on Popeye's show today. So I'm going to send that picture of my swollen testicle, which is about 5.5 inches in diameter. And you can tell that because I put my Apple iPhone 13 Plus next to it, and it's as long as my iPhone. So you people that don't believe what I say, you are welcome to wager me big sums of money that I'm a liar. But I want to meet you in person. You put the money on the table, and then I will show you proof. You all, the problem with you people on YouTube is that you've never done anything in your life. So you have so many problems believing that other people can accomplish things in their life that you yourself could only dream of, or watch it on television, or read about it in a book. So why would I lie about having my intestines inside my testicle, especially that I had the operation? I have the billing for the operation. I have pictures of it. Why would you people be so incompetent? How stupid is a better word, to not believe what I say. When in the history of YouTube have I lied to you people? When? Just name one time and I'll delete my channel. Okay? Name a time where anything that was really important that I said I will wager you money that I'm telling you the truth about the boat, the car, the house, the barge, the crane, the pile driver, the digger, the backhoe, the bobcat, the center console, the ocean racer. Name a time where something that was important that I talked about, that I lied about it. I'm not talking about when I said I have tools from, those tools are from 1980. They could be from 1981, so that makes it a false statement. They could be from 1979. That makes it a false statement. But your people are the underaccomplished, the underachievers in the real world. So don't blame me because you've never done anything great that you could be proud of. Besides make money. Making money is a good thing to do in life, but to be the money to be end all be all. Look at that clown. I call him the psycho in Cebu. All the money he has. And what does he do? He spends it on bringing another girl into his personal relationship and calling her his second wife. All the money that he has. What does he do with the money? He goes out to a bar and he lets his wife swap spit with a bar fine girl. Is that an accomplishment? Is that anything to be proud of? Now, that's a lifestyle, and it's an okay lifestyle, but to make it public on YouTube, it's pretty disgusting in my opinion. But moving past that, what has he done? He gets to travel by himself all over the world. But he doesn't pay for any of that stuff. He only pays for his own personal stuff. He gets all of that on the company's dime. So it's not him buying it. But moving past that, what has he done with his money? Does he own a boat? No. Does he own a jet ski where he could take his family out on a jet ski? Could he afford a jet ski? Yes. Does he own a jet ski? No. He doesn't own anything, any kind of toys. Does he own like maybe not a big boat, but even like a small speedboat? No. Does a jet ski you could put 3 or 4 people on? Does he? He doesn't. Did he own any of that stuff in America? Probably not. All he ever did was make money and invest in what he calls it, what Pepsi-Cola or Apple stock, whatever it was. He's never done anything in his life. Now he thinks that putting his concubines and his barfine girls, allowing his barfine girls to kiss a woman, 2 women that he supposedly loves, is that an accomplishment? Okay, let's say he thinks it's an accomplishment, right? Let's say he thinks that. Well, if he thinks it's such a great accomplishment, why did he take all that stuff off his channel when Expat Trash of the Philippines started their channel? Why did he take it all down? If he's so proud of his lifestyle, he's not proud of his lifestyle. He knows he lives a worthless, degenerative lifestyle. He knows that. So he took all that content down because it's not really acceptable. It's only acceptable to a small portion of what is called expat trash in the Philippines. That lifestyle is acceptable by a few dozen people. And even if 100 people look at his lifestyle, most of them are going to go there and snicker at him because it's a disgusting way to live your life. I mean, who shares the woman they love with barfine girls that have been with the lowest of the low? They might have been with 10 men that day. They could have been with 10 men that week. They could have been with 10 men that were with 10 barfine girls. They could have been with 10 men that were with 10 barfine girls that were with 10 men. They could have been with 10 men that were with 100 barfine girls in the last year. And those 100 barfine girls might have been with 2,000 men. And all of those people have certain amounts of viruses and diseases. And then what does he do? He lets his girlfriend or concubine or the woman he loves kiss, and maybe God knows what else. We don't know what else. So if he was so proud of it, so all of those diseases and all of those bacteria and all of that STDs and all of that stuff that those girls may or may not have. And then he pushes his wife or girlfriend or concubine over to them to kiss and to do dirty dancing. Is that really an accomplishment? It's not. Now, if he did that on his own, okay, he does that behind closed doors. That's cool. But he did that for 3 months, and he was supposed to be proud of it. So if he's so proud of it, my question to you people is, why did he take all those 26 videos down of Burger Street in Manila, and the video where there was literally barfine women with numbers on their hips? And I think he was basically grooming somebody to learn the ropes. And that's cool, but it's not something you post on YouTube with the women you love. But he was very proud of that until this channel, I don't know if it's a man, probably a man, but a man or a woman, Expat Trash of the Philippines. Well, I'm going to send that channel all those videos that I have of that and what I consider disgusting behavior. I'm going to send it all there. And if they want to make an expose on the Psycho in Cebu, well, then that's up to them. And I'm going to do this because he said that Daisy May slept with every man in Bohol, and that's not true. Now, an apology would just not cut it, because no, I'm not going to accept an apology. Did he apologize? No, he didn't apologize because he's the Psycho in Cebu. That's his problem. It's called NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. You look it up, he's got it. Because he never thinks he does anything wrong, and then he justifies it with lies, deceits, half-truths, just like a politician. Just like a politician could look up in the sky over Washington, D.C. and see lines crossing the sky, one red, and they say, well, what are those lines to the politician? The politician says, oh, that's the smoke that comes out of the back of a jet plane. They know better. They just lie into you to your face, and if they say it long enough, you'll get tired of listening to it. Just like what he did, saying that I'm a liar. I'm not a liar. I never lied to you people. In fact, I probably, there's a few people that have never lied to you. I'll tell you who they are, that right off the bat. Scott Del Fuego, he doesn't have the capacity to lie. He doesn't say anything. Dennis Adam never lied. These are my friends. Louis Pagan Ponce does not lie. Alo de Winter does not lie. Alo de Winter, you guys can think whatever you want about Alo. He's the most moral, he's one of the most moral people I've ever met. DNC doesn't lie. Never did. I have chat mail or in the comments section with DNC. DNC is an honest man. Flying Circus. Now, do I know their real names? Of course I do. Do I know who's behind many of the other channels? Of course I do. And the reason is because I'm not a rat. Could I tell you? Absolutely not. I would be breaking my word as a man. And just like I'm telling you now, you're never going to catch me in a lie. And I'm not lying. Daisy May never slept with every man in Bohol, but this pig, the Psycho in Cebu, he said that. He's gonna regret that. And how he's going to regret that is I'm going to send all those videos of all the wonderful things he did with his so-called loved ones in Manila and in Cebu, with his so-called wives, plural, his so-called concubines, plural, and the bar girls. I'm sending those videos to Expat Trash. I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice. Now, if you want to watch a great video of the Psycho or a Psycho, you should go and look at Flying Circus's most recent video. Flying Circus knows the truth. Flying Circus and I have been friends for a very, very long time. And Flying Circus brought out the best of the Psycho. Flying Circus has a knack for editing. So if you really want to watch a really cool video, I suggest you go to Flying Circus's current video of a really big giant against a very small person. And you watch that video, and then I want you to read the comments that are underneath the video. And I defy you people to find fault or falsehood in my comments. Because let me tell you what the Psycho said. Let's just say the Psycho said, I never betrayed Fazio's trust. Yes, he did. I was on a certain show and I never betrayed his trust. Yes, he did. But the show we're really talking about where he betrayed my trust was his personal show with his so-called loved one or wife or whatever it is. And he put that up before he went on that second show, and he said all kinds of things that he wasn't supposed to say. We had an agreement not to share certain information. And he did it on his show. So then he made his show exposed truths that him and I agreed were never to be exposed or talked about. Nothing earth-shattering important, but we agreed not to talk about certain things. And then he did it anyway. So he broke his agreement. He's not a man of his word. Then he lied and said, Fazio and I, we were supposed to meet tonight. It's in the video on Flying Circus's channel. We were supposed to meet at 8 o'clock at night. At 1:17 in the afternoon, after I saw his live stream with him and his, whatever it is, wife, girlfriend, or concubine, after I saw that live stream that he took down, by the way, and he exposed things that we agreed he wouldn't talk about, then I realized the man was not to be trusted with personal information. And I will not meet up with someone that can't be trusted with my personal information. Maybe off camera I would tell him something that I wouldn't say on camera, and then he would blurt it all over like a little girl like a tattletale that he is. So I would not trust him. I don't want to meet. I don't want to even spend a minute with somebody I can't trust. What's the point? So the point is that he said, oh, Fazio, he said we were going to meet. And then he was crying like a little girl. Crying like a girl. Like a little tiny little girl. But he's a really big man. He was crying like a little girl. Fazio, he's not a man of his word. You broke the agreement between us. I'll say this every day on every live stream, on every video I make, until you people understand. He was the one that broke the agreement. And then I gave him 6.5 hours heads up. Look, I'm going to post the email that I sent him. I'll post it one day. And I'll post the emails that he sent me, crying. And when in the email I said, look, I respectfully decline your offer to meet with you. I have no wish to meet you. At 1:17 in the afternoon, I wrote that. So he had 6.5 hours to get over it. And at 8 o'clock, his problem is he's an arrogant drunk. And by 8 o'clock, he had a couple of drinks in him. And he lost his mind, crying that I didn't want to meet him. Well, in real life, and went on flying. So in real life, Fazio, you wouldn't be able to make it in the business world. Yeah, I got a little story to tell you. In real life, where I grew up, they'd take you fishing. You running your mouth about stuff that you made an agreement not to talk about. They'd want to go take you fishing, deep sea fishing. So you talk smack about me, you talk smack about Daisy May. You're the liar, dude. You're a pathological, narcissistic, psychopathic liar. Take that to the bank. So go to Flying Circus's video and listen to him cry. Listen to, and the big lie is Fazio, he had canceled a couple of hours before the meeting. Oh, so a couple of hours before the meeting is 6 o'clock, right? And the meeting is at 8 o'clock. I canceled at 1:17 in the afternoon. I gave him 6.5 hours to get over himself. The guy's a piece of garbage. In real life, he's, in my opinion, in real life, when you pass your old lady around like candy at a church festival, you're a piece of garbage, okay? You're not going to move around that. You're not going to happen. Not going to happen. Never done an honest day's construction work in his life. Has no idea how to operate tools or equipment. He knows how to make money. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Joe Biden made a lot of money too. All illegal. And what do they do with it? His son's a degenerate. And most people with money become degenerates anyway. They have too much money. My battery is low. My battery is low. And I'm going to go. So you take that to the, you go to Flying Circus's video, and you watch this guy cry. He canceled. He only gave a couple hours. That's a lie. That's a psychopath lying. The difference of a couple hours and 6.5 hours. I have the emails to prove it. That's a psychopath saying Daisy May slept with every man in Bahal. That's a psychopath talking like that. That's not a human being. That's a psychopath. That's a narcissistic personality disorder psychopath trying to say that Daisy May was a slut? No. The psychopath, he deals with sluts. I don't. That's his shtick, as in the Jewish, as a Jewish word. It's his shtick, S-T-H-I-C-K. That's not my shtick. I would never date a slut. If I knew she was a slut, I would never date her. If I didn't know, well, then you don't know. That's two different things. But to actually go after a slut, to bring your girlfriend to Manila, to teach her the ropes, with sluts with numbers on their hips, that's a psychopath. And that's all I got to say about that. I got 2 minutes left on the battery. I'll say goodbye, and I'm being Permy, and I'm sure that you guys on Discord, go give it to him. Go give him the video. Go watch Flying Circus's video. Prove me wrong. I'll send you the email. And to the person that said Fazio didn't have my testicle was this big. It was as big. It was bigger than my cell phone. Bigger than that. And it was filled up with my small intestine. And the doctor said, if that blows apart, you'll die in minutes, unless you're right in front of the hospital, and we could cut you open within 45 minutes. He goes, you'll be dead. So I had no choice. I was not allowed to lift up anything heavy. I was certainly not allowed to fight or brawl. And that's the truth. So that for the people out there that don't believe it, why don't you put a fund together? Let's say, I don't know, say $5,000, and you bring it to Bahal, and I'll show you pictures and videos of my my swollen testicle. I'll show you pictures and video, and then you'll give me the $5,000. And if I don't show it to you, then I'll have to give you $5,000. How's that? That's pretty good. That's pretty good, yeah? That would be good for you. It would be worth $5,000 for you people, you fools that you've never caught me in a lie. You're never going to catch me in a lie. That guy is lying. Well, everybody knows that Daisy May didn't sleep with every man in Bahal. That would be an exaggeration, even if it was true and she tried to do it. She couldn't do that. But the fact that he tried to turn Daisy May into a slut, he's the one that loves the sluts, not me. He's the one that goes to Manila and hangs out with the girls with the numbers on their torso, not me. That's the guy that says that Daisy May slept with all. Daisy May never did anything. And Daisy May is one of the nicest girls. I'll say this again. Daisy May will always be my friend. I talk to her on a regular basis. When I needed her to come and help me with the operation, she did that. She brought her sister. We went on vacation together. We had nothing but laughs and fun. And you people make fun of Daisy May. That's not allowed. That's not allowed. So we're going to say Amping Permi from Michael Fazio in the Philippines. And of course, Amping Permi means take care always. Now you, that piece of garbage, Rich, now you have sound bites. Yeah? Don't use them, Rich, because if I see another one of my videos with me in it on your channel, I'm going to start flagging your videos. So you cannot use, you do not have permission to use. In fact, I removed the allow embedding. No, nobody's allowed to use my videos from 2 weeks ago onward. So don't use my videos, because if I see if YouTube sends me a notice like they did yesterday, some people are sharing your videos, and I know who you are, and I don't want you to share them, I'm gonna ask for a takedown notice. Probably won't get a copyright strike, but I'll ask for a takedown notice. So don't even waste your time. All the effort that you put into editing, if I see even 10 seconds of my video and YouTube says that somebody's using 10 seconds of your video, because it tells you, so-and-so used 10 seconds of your video in a video. And that's okay. But Rich, you can't use anything that I have. You're not allowed. You're persona non grata. You're as big of a dirt ball as the psychopath in Cebu, the psycho in Cebu. You're all cut out of the same cloth. Amping Permi from the Philippines, baby. And of course, Amping Permi means take care always. That's right. Bye-bye for now. Go tell the psychopath what I said, because it's going to happen every day until I forget what he said. And that probably won't be anytime soon.